What's up, everyone? It's Around the ACL. It's Michelle Thompson here, joined by Anthony Ione and Trey Ryder. And we had some big events over the weekend. We've got a big event coming up this weekend in my area, my neck of the woods, California. And so how were your guys' weekend? Anthony, did you play some more cornhole this weekend?
Just practiced.
All right.
Which is good. Which is good. No more basketball this weekend, so not a lot. I got about 2 hours of practice in, which is probably what our elite level pros are doing by lunch. So I'll take it. I'll take it though.
Trey, did you get some practice in this weekend?
Maybe actually a little bit on Friday. You know, I've been. I'll say this much. I've been telling people because I've been making an effort about 15 minutes a day to throw bags, trying to throw every single day. Because I'm here at the office and I'm tired of showing up at events and being washed, right? I don't need to be good, but I just you and Michelle beating me up, you two beating me and Wally and me playing like dog, I'm
glad we brought that up, Trey.
Like I can't do that anymore. Like I have to be able to go onto a board and look like I know what I'm doing. So I'm trying to spend a little bit of time, getting back the groove a little bit. But no practice over the weekend, just sometimes practice in the office. But yeah, I'm determined to not be the worst of the content team. I am determined not to be the worst.
I don't think you're the worst of the content team. I think some others can rival you there.
Trey, I think that's where I'm going to end up is I just need to be okay on the board. But for some reason, I'm still like, no, okay is not enough. I
don't think you'll ever be that way, Anthony. I can't imagine.
I know, but reality is it's going to happen.
You feel the same way, Anthony. I have no problem if I step up to a board and I can't throw a 4-bagger because I can't hit my slide shot 8 times in a row because that's all about a consistency.
Yeah.
But I want to be able to walk up to a board and hit a really hard push and then throw the other 3 off the back of the board just because my slide shot's bad. As long as I can hit some really cool looking shots, that's really all I care about.
Yeah, the flashy.
Being flashy will make up for an inconsistent, 7.75 PPR because I can't throw a slide shot to save my life.
Nice.
7.75 would be phenomenal for me. So I would take that in a second.
Onward and upward.
Oh, wait. I did. Actually, Thursday night, I did win league doubles night, Mish.
How did you forget
about that? Yeah. I won on Thursday. Yeah.
Michelle, when you become pro level, you just forget about all your wins.
Yeah, like whatever. Just a win at the local level. It's no big deal. I do it all the time. My goodness. Well, speaking of the pro level, we have our Open number 4 coming up this weekend in Upland, and it's going to be a great time. Fun for me to talk about some of these players since this is my area. There are some players there that I recommend we watch that are from my club. So really, really cool stuff. But what are you thinking about this Open coming up here, Trey?
Yeah, well, it was funny because, when you put your roster together of people to watch for, last night's bracket breakdown with Bernie, it was like California player. I was like, I see a trend here for Michelle, but
I gotta let the people know. Gotta let them know.
Yeah, no, I think there's a couple different stories for me. One, we got Alec Ryan gonna be out there in California coming off of his signature win in singles, right? It's so hard to kind of repeat that level of consistency. I expect a drop-off from Alec Ryan just because, that's what happens. Nobody wins every single time, right? So there's that, how does he respond, right? Is this something where he comes in 3rd place and it's like, wow, he's really consistent, or does he drop back to a 17th or a 21st or something like that? So watching him, not from California again, but the Sesweta brothers, Moses in particular, based on what I'm hearing from Todd Kasicki in that conference in that region, Moses is playing his butt off right now. And so I think Moses is going to be another player that kind of we saw rise to the top during the Pro Shootout Series in the summer of 2022. And just going to see if he can continue to build on that momentum that he started at the end of last season. We're going to see some teams playing together that I've been waiting, Corey Gilbert and Ricky Gonzalez. There's the debut of that team. I'm really excited to watch. I'm really excited to see Ryan Wiedenfeld and Ryan Smith for the first time. This is someone that between the three of us, some of us have them in our top 10 and a team that can really compete at a top 10 level. And it'll be the first time this season that we see them play together. So a chance to watch them. No, Wooten and Ryan Windsor going to be playing together, right? Wooten and Windsor, anytime they play together, it usually works out, right? Something good usually happens. We saw it at the shootout series. We've seen it time and time again in open events. It's just a team that has really good chemistry, similar play style, similar bag selection. I think ultimately they're going to be really good. And a few others that stick out, but really there's two big names that I think this is an opportunity to shine this weekend. And this is where you're going to learn, I think, a lot about these two individual players, mostly because, I want to see them under a spotlight and I want to see how they succeed. And they're two PDC players that have the ability to compete at that pro level, at a really high level. I would argue one of them maybe has an opportunity to be a first round pick in the pro teams draft at the end of the year. Vincent Frisch and Adrian Brunson, two top level throwers out of the state of California, both of especially Brunson, Michelle cannot talk enough about because that's their favorite player. Yeah, that's their favorite player out there, her and Nick. But I would say those two in particular have an opportunity to make a big splash. They are elite level players. They have every shot in the book. I had a chance to watch two hat wearing Vincent Frisch at the Everett, Washington event last year at the Open, and him and Brunson almost took down that entire event. There was a point where they were rolling through people. They rolled through James Baldwin and Cheyenne Renner. They were rolling through the bracket, and they almost made it all the way back to Jimmy Humans and Mark Richards, who ended up winning that event. They came up a little bit short, but at times, Vincent Frisch in particular looked like one of the best players in the entire tournament. So if you had to sit me down and say, Trey, you got to pick just a handful or just a couple people to watch, Frisch and Brunson are the two people I have my eye on here. They're in their home state. They now have a pro/PDC status attached to their name, and the expectation for them has risen to a level of no longer just competing, but if you want to be viewed as an elite level player, I want to see a bracket final or better level finish.
All right, real quick, one point of clarification. So, because we're still waiting for the PDC list to be finalized, right? Contracts, trying to get that list finalized. Did you say Frisch and Brunson are in fact committed or contracted PDC?
They are both signed PDC contracted. Yes.
Wow.
100%.
Okay.
If we look at them, they both.
That.
Yeah. If we look, they Vincent Frisch, and now you got me like double checking here, but they're both signed contracts. Yeah, both of them are committed.
That's beautiful. So that like you said, that could blow up when we get to the draft. The PDC are just like pros, right? We can draft. Captains can go in and grab a PDC player as early as they want. So we're talking about two guys coming out of the PDC that could go second round. I would be surprised if they made it past second round, but maybe there's a good fit and someone says, hey, that's a good player for my team. I'm going to grab him in the first round. That's significant.
Frisch in particular, right? Brunson to me, and Michelle's going to hate me for saying this, Brunson feels a little bit more up and down than Frisch is. Frisch feels like more of a consistent higher level player. I've definitely seen tournament results and watched Brunson play where he does play at that high level, but I've also seen some tournaments where I go, that doesn't make a lot of sense from what I'm hearing about Brunson. So I think Frisch may be a late first round, high second round pick.
Here's the other thing to think about too. When these captains, they're trying to be smart at this, right? And they're going, could I get a Frisch in the second or third round?
Right.
Could everybody pass? So you cross your fingers. Maybe you pull an elite level top 15 player in your first round, thinking Frisch is going to be available in the second round. So he could be one of those ones too that you kind of sit on and wait for him.
Another one that's kind of funny in that it's kind of a little bit off topic, but he's also playing this weekend. Gavin Cano, one of the best phrases I saw on social media last week was Gavin Cano put a video on social media of him hitting a bar of soap and then almost an and one combo. The bag just didn't go exactly how he wanted to. And Noah Wooten commented, "Stop posting videos until after the draft."
I want you to be there.
Yes. I need Gavin to be someone that nobody has their eye on. But another high profile rookie, won an Open last year, will also be there this weekend.
Agreed. Anthony, what are your thoughts about the Open coming up?
So one of the first checks I do is I go, all right, let's look at the top 10 or 15 pros in the league from last season. That's typically where we see a lot of the Open singles winners coming from, a lot of the doubles. So I did that check. More looking at the 15 top 4, not in the field. Richards, Rawls, Matt Guy, Jamie Graham, not in the field. It takes us to get to a number 5, Tony Smith, before we see a top 5 guy in the field. He's an Open number 2 singles winner from last year. He won doubles with Harbaugh, teaming up this time with his committed pro partner, Jacob Trzynski. Definitely expect those boys to be deep. But looking at the rest of the field, maybe going to 15, no Tanner Halbert, no Eric Davis, no Philip Lopez, Jackson Gore, or Damon Dennis, all out of the field. But we do have Josh Holland showing up, who's also an Open winner from last year, won singles. Noah Almanza, we saw him break out at Open number 3. He's in the field. Devin Harbaugh, Trey Birchfield, and was actually surprised to see Eddie Grindersleeve coming all the way out there from Texas as well. So those are going to be your players in the field, not in the field. Just kind of looking at this roster, you already mentioned Alec Ryan teaming up with Fisher Hamilton. Mm-hmm. I mean, these guys are going to be sneaky good. Both Hamilton, obviously, we're talking a lot about him as the rookie of the year. Together, I think they're going to be really tough, play a very similar game. I'd expect these boys to be in a bracket final, if not win the whole thing. Kind of looking at this Cali piece, Misha, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit here.
Okay.
You know, I see the Sassueta brothers. I see Brunson Ballard. I see Gonzalez Gilbert, Morgado Hadley, Parent Valdivia. All right, let me just ask you something, Mish, because I think you have a better grip of the talent in Cali. If we were going to look at, because I'm really looking hard at the Sassuetas brothers this year, best out of 7, let's say Sassueta brothers versus Parent Valdivia. Who wins that, in your opinion?
I'm going Sassueta brothers for that one.
You're thinking Sassueta. All right.
Yeah.
Sassueta brothers versus Hadley Zaft. Best out of 7. Who do you think wins that?
Man, I still got to go with them. I just feel like especially the last half of the season, they were really showing up.
And then just throwing another new partnership in another partnership this year that shows some potential. Williams Labrador versus Sassueta brothers. Same question.
Oh, that's tough. Man, because I think that Andrew and Nick could do it, but if we're gonna go off of consistency, who's been showing, then I got to go with Sassueta, because Williams and Labrador haven't shown the deep bracket runs as commonly as they have, but I think they can do it for sure.
So that's kind of getting to where I was like, who is the best team out of the West? Go ahead, Trey. What do you got?
All right, Sassueta brothers versus Frisch and Brunson.
Oh, I'm taking Frisch and Brunson. Absolutely.
That's my point. See, that's what I'm saying. This is, I'm telling you, this is, if the West has been clamoring for their guy, right? I think Frisch and Brunson have the ability to be that pair. Now, they are kids, and I know they're going to hate me calling them that, right? But they are 16 years old, okay? If they want to be, if they're watching this, okay? Frisch and Brunson, if you're watching this, if you can go from being in a 16-year-old body to being a 22-year-old or a 25-year-old mentally, you could be the elite team that the West has been clamoring for, okay? I'm telling you, there's 100% of what is keeping them from being the next Mark Richards or whatever is all up here. Okay.
Agreed.
And it's just about taking that next step. And I know the West is clamoring for them because I see it on social media. They respect the hell out of these guys, Anthony. I'm telling you.
Yeah. That's awesome. So I think this conversation was significant. And thank you, Mish, because I know you got a better grip on Cali. It does help solidify. I was thinking the same thing. You know, we still have Gilbert Gonzalez out there, but I'm assuming based on what you're saying, they're also going to fall to the Sassueta brothers. So are you saying that's
a new partnership, right? Because Williams and Labrador have been partners in the past. And so I'm just going off of what they've done. Doesn't mean that they can't do better this season. But if we look at their history, then you kind of have to lean one way or the other. But Lightskin and Ricky G, that's a new team. So I don't know.
So you're on the fence on that one. You don't
I'm
think
on the fence on that one. I want to see because
okay.
I just want to see how they perform. You know, remembering that Corey, you know, he went 8-0 at qualifiers.
He did go 8-0, but I don't think we saw an 8-0. You're good. I don't think we saw an 8-0 caliber player last year out of Corey Gilbert. I mean, 8-0. We're expecting top 20 at least.
Right, but the potential. I mean, we have to remember, you know, that ceiling is there. That's not an easy thing to do.
Who's your best team out of the West this year, Mish?
I mean,
right now.
Yeah, I mean, you got to go Frisch Brunson at the moment.
That's legit coming out of the PDC. This is all new. Yeah, I'm loving that. I'm loving that they actually are contracted. So that changes my mindset now. I really thought the Sessueta brothers were going to be the best team out of the West this year, but you dropped that PDC partnership.
Well, the only thing I will say is they have experience on broadcast stages. They have experience deeper in brackets. Like, so the one thing that's going to hurt, if anything, Frisch and Brunson is they don't have that experience yet of being in the pro field and having that kind of pressure. So that's the only thing. That's the only reason why I would ever, you know, maybe lean a little bit towards the Sessueta brothers is because they have that experience already.
And the only way I would put the only part I would push back on all of that, and my personal opinion would be, I think Zaft and Hadley are right there too. I may actually take Zaft and Hadley over the Sessueta brothers, but it's they play 10 times. One of them's winning 6 and one's winning 4 type of deal.
Okay.
I think Zaft showed me last year that just because he's not new doesn't mean he still can't improve. And he took a big step last year. So that's the only point I'd probably make there.
Just to keep us on track, we could talk another probably 30 minutes about the field, but I did want to make a point about the ladies' side. I'm looking at this. Literally only 2 ladies, if we look at the entire rankings of the women's from last season, maybe even all the way to 20, there's only 2 ladies in there, Belvin and Soprenit. No Bubenheim, Cassidy, Irwan, Altais, Hunter. I mean, just keep going on. Finley, Decoys. So it really is going to open up the opportunity for other women to come in and do some work. You know, maybe like a Heather Voyer. I know that she's been working a lot. Good. She was at the qualifier, very good. Hey, here's an opportunity for her to maybe to come out and take down a women's singles, but having to go through like a Belvin and a Soprenit to get there.
She could do it.
Has Soprenit ever lost like an open like this? I feel like Soprenit is undefeated in women's singles opens on like the western side of the United States.
Yeah,
I don't feel like she's ever lost. So I don't know. I think she'd be the betting favorite.
That's fair. All right, let's move into some news around the league. We had a Wisconsin money tournament that occurred. We had the lovely Wally on the mic for that one. I did get to catch some of that here and there. Our singles winner for that was Nico Morales, and our doubles winners were Joe Neesett and Jeremy Schermerhorn, which there was a pretty deep field there. So big win for them. And we also have the ACL season schedule released. We added some dates to that. Trey, did you want to go into any of that, or what are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I mean, I think brief thoughts for me. Nico winning a singles event is scary now for the Chicagoland Spinners.
Trey Burchell was there. Noah Wooten was there. I mean, it was tough.
Windsor, Birchfield, Almanza. Yeah. I mean, it was packed.
Yeah, Nico showing that he can compete with the big boys now. That's scary to think about. And no one's probably happier than Tom Gustafson, right? He's probably sitting there just, I love that. Joe Neesett and Jeremy Schermerhorn pairing up, got a big win in doubles. Schermerhorn now, I think, has a signature singles win and a signature doubles win under his belt, right? Big money tournament like that. I know it doesn't count as like an ACL title, but like it's a, hey, we're here, we win, we did this, type of thing. So I think that's a big win. On the schedule side, excited to really dive in. The rest of the opens, -1 or 2 were released to come to some great locations. We got the dates and we released to the pros kind of where the locations are going to be for some of those, but as that gets released, the locations for some of these nationals in the coming weeks, and it's going to be great. But in the end, you have your 4 nationals, your 8 pro shootouts are going to overlap your 8 Super Bowl events, all going to be on ESPN networks, which is going to be great. So those open shootout Super Bowl combo events are going to become epic, right? They're going to be some great 3 days of cornhole action that are going to be a ton of fun. So I think it's just going to make for a great second half of the season.
Anthony, anything to add?
Yeah, really pumped for Morales. I mean, if we look again, we talked about him as a statistical anomaly. This guy was in the top 5% of almost every statistical category and then finished in the 40 percentile in ranks. So somehow that deep run, that big win always avoided him. This time it didn't. I mean, the guy was due. You can't throw that level of cornhole and not eventually pull out a win. So I was really pumped for him to see that one. And then, of course, Neisted finally got the big win. Maybe I said Neisted too early. I kind of went out earlier last year.
You were on the bandwagon.
Look out for Joe Neisted. Well, he finally got the big win. It had to be in the next season, but he was definitely coming as well. So both guys were due, and they got it. So that was awesome for them.
Did you catch that Morales-Hisner match?
No, I didn't.
Neither one of you? Okay, so Adam Hisner, he had a cheesehead hat on. And he was up big on Nico, big. And he was joking around. He was laughing. He's having a great time. And Nico snuck up and took it.
When did the cheesehead come off? Right at
I don't know when it came off, but it did come off. But yeah, it was interesting.
That's so Hisner. Hisner.
Yeah, and for me, I was really proud of Nico. I mean, I can't say, I know this is just my personality, but that would have thrown me off if somebody was joking around and not really focused. That would have definitely gotten in the way for me. So nice thing to do. Yeah, oh yeah. I can't play against drunk people. All right, Trey, you've got a game. We're ready to play.
It's my favorite game. Everybody's favorite game. I like to think. I got called out by Sydney because I love
it's
Sydney
America's
on our
favorite
team.
Game.
I'm giving Sydney Keppel a shout out. She when we go to these national events, I'm just a very analytical, logical person. So I love mind games and riddles. Those are some of my favorite things to do. And so she's like, I've been listening to this around the ACL and name that player. And this is you being able to introduce some of your convoluted riddles into a professional setting. I know what you're doing. And I said, I've never felt more called out in my life. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Okay, I only got 2 today. The first one, this person is 12th all-time in titles with 5 titles. 5 titles. By the way, I'm waiting for this game. I know there's going to come a time where Anthony just goes and memorizes the titles list and just knows off the top because I just know how he is. He's just going to go. He's going to memorize them all. He's going to be so good.
I really looked at it really hard one day, and I'm like, man, there's 15 people tied at 4 titles. I'm never going to remember that. I'm never going to remember that.
He tried.
So this person, 12th all time with 5 total titles. The split is 3 singles and 2 doubles.
All right, so equally singles, doubles.
This person throws primarily carpet.
Right away, I like Derek King down in that area, but I just feel like most of his titles come from doubles, so maybe that kind of kills him out of there a little bit.
And is Ryan Windsor higher up on that list?
He is. Yeah, he was way up there, I think.
All right.
3 of the titles, this one might give it away a little bit. 3 of the titles come from the shootout series.
Okay. Hisner successful in the shootout series and has a good partner, but he didn't necessarily throw carpet. Yeah, he wasn't a carpet guy. But what about Cody? No, same thing.
Not carpet. Who wins shootouts throwing carpet?
Smith did good in the shootouts with carpet. You got another one? Another clue?
The next question was, this person hasn't always thrown carpet.
Oh.
That's a tough one. There's a lot of players that fit that one.
We have already talked about him once this show.
We have, you said?
We have mentioned him briefly, but
Ryan Smith?
He's playing Ryan Smith. Ryan Smith is the answer. There you go.
Yes.
So, not always thrown carpet. He made that adjustment over the past, year or two?
Yeah.
I mean, he hasn't been always that way. Okay. Next person, number 2, last one. This person is 19th all time in titles with 4. He's got 4 titles. I said he, so I gave you one.
Yeah, you gave away something.
We got a clue. We got a clue.
Okay, those 4 titles are split evenly, 2 doubles, 2 singles.
Okay.
This person is a former world champion.
Former world champion with a decent doubles partner.
And when I specify world champion, I mean singles or doubles.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
This person, the other 3 titles, in addition to the world championships, are a national doubles, a national singles, and a shootout singles.
World champion and national. Noah Wooten.
Their world championship was in doubles.
Oh, doubles.
Was that the last clue?
Last clue is they only throw slick side.
Damon Dennis.
Damon
Dennis.
Dennis.
I would have thought he had more titles. That's actually surprising.
Doesn't it? It does surprise you. Now, again, when I say titles, the seniors thing, right? The guy has won. Mm-hmm. I felt like saying he's won 5 senior singles titles. Probably would have given that away a little bit.
Yeah.
Because there's literally one person that's ever done that. But the you expected him to have kind of more, but he just won the doubles world championship. He just won the doubles national. That would have been the 2019 Cornhole Mania. They beat him and Philip Hayden beat Cody Henderson and Adam Hissner in the finals there. And then he won the national singles event last year, the kickoff battle in 2021, that big emotional win. And then he won the shootout in Asheville in singles.
All right.
So there you go. Those are my name the players for the day.
Hey, we're getting better at this, Beach. We're getting better.
Yes.
It takes all the clues, Anthony. I don't think it's something to
I know.
brag about.
Let's just jump to 4 quick clues before we start guessing.
Just rattle through them. Don't even bother. All right, moving on to buy or sell. I'm going to give you some names, and you guys tell me if you buy or sell that they're going to be a first-round pick in our teams draft coming up in Myrtle Beach. All right, first one, Derek Holland. What do you think, Trey?
Okay, so let me set the stage here, and it kind of explains. So here we go. First round pick. You got to remember you have 3 players on every team already set.
Correct.
Right? So there's your math already. That's 48 players that are gone out of the contention for being a first round pick. Anthony and I already talked about this, that when we went through, and actually the first 24 in pro standings last season already on a team, and then kind of a mix throughout the way, right? So these aren't necessarily the 24 best players, the 16 best players that are going to be a first-round pick. It's like the 16 who aren't already drafted. So what I did was I took all the people that weren't on teams yet from the pro singles rankings, and then I threw in a bunch of rookies that I thought could be close.
Yep.
And then I just started crossing through names until I got to a final 16. So Derek Holland I think absolutely will be a first-round pick. I will buy it. He was a top 10 player last season. A top 10 doubles team last season alongside Josh Holland. He threw at an exceptionally high level. I just think there's no way people can see that name go all the way through the first round and not take him. I'm going to buy it that he's a first-round pick.
Yeah, Trey, you set the stage. I was kind of going to do the same thing. So the way that I looked at it was I took last season's pros. I took all their ranks. So you're going to go top to bottom, right? You get a list top to bottom. Then you have to remove all the pros that didn't auto-qualify, and it's a lot. North of 130 players did not auto-qualify. You have to remove the 48 players, like you were saying, that were already captains. Also note we're going to remove, is it 16U that we're removing out of teams?
Yes. Or so U16, not 16U, but
under
U16.
16.
U16. So you've
16
got it.
is good to go.
Right. So you got first round candidates like an Alex Hicks out. Jackson Gore out. I mean, these are guys that were ranked in the top 20, like 12 to 16-ish. They're going to be out. So yeah, and then I'm looking at it and I'm like, here's what I kind of came down to was Derek Holland, he would have been the 12th pick. So when I kind of came down my list and you look at who's available, if you look at ranks, Derek Holland's right around the 12th pick out of the 16. Then you got to sprinkle in the rookies, like you were saying. You know, you've got these rookies that did really well. A lot of them coming out of the open qualifier, which I think is going to be a stronger candidate for a more caliber player. However, you've got the 32 coming in from the pro qualifier, looking specifically at in the 8-0s. These are guys that you're going to be like, all right, these guys went 8-0 in the qualifier. They're going to be a high caliber player as well. We should consider them in there. And then it really messes it up. When you start sprinkling in those rookies and those 8-0 qualifiers, and you're looking at really who's on that list, man, that could really blow up the first round. I was thinking, hey, Derek Holland is not going to be on my list, but I looked a little closer, and his son, his son Josh, has a pick in there. He's the 10th pick. He's the 10th pick. I think Derek Holland is still available when you get to the 10th pick. I can't see Josh passing up on his dad. He's clearly a high caliber player. They make a good doubles team. I don't think he makes it out of that first round because his son's going to pick him up in the 10th round if he's still available.
That was a buy, by the way.
I'm going to buy it.
Yeah.
That was a roundabout buy. All right. I had him in my first round as well. Tyler Poitras.
Tough. He is a first round talent, but that doesn't mean he will get drafted in the first round, right? Teams may look at him saying he's had a year off out of the pro field. I am not sure. If I'm a captain, last time he was a pro, he was in doubles world championship final. I have to recognize the fact that he's an elite level player. I'll buy Tyler Poitras being a first round pick.
Anthony?
Yeah, so what do we know? We know Tyler Poitras. He was a top 48th ranked player. Go back 2 seasons ago, because that's where we saw him. 2021, he was the 48th ranked player. We know the best available picks, you know, in this first round, they're going to be ranked about 25th to 49th. So when we were talking about making that list, your first round picks are around that 25 rank to 49 rank. Those are the type of players that are going to be in that first round. Tyler was a 48 a couple years ago. We know the talent's gotten better and deeper. The question is he still a top 50 caliber player? We have to look at something like the qualifier. The guy went 8-0. He won his bracket in advanced the advanced at Worlds, lost only to the champ Ryan Wiedenfield 21-19. But that answers the question for me. He is a elite level caliber. He has improved his game with the rest of the field. I'm going to buy it. I was on the fence, but my gut, this one's a gut feeling because we're really going off of old history and the little bit we saw at Worlds. My gut's saying that he's going to go in the first round. I'm going to buy it.
Same. All right, Nate Stevens.
This one is going to be so funny because I know people at home, when they hear Nate Stevens, they're going to go, why is this guy even in contention to be here, right? But if you go by Anthony's pick, Anthony's explanation of 25 through 49, I don't think people know at home that Nate Stevens was the number 32 ranked ACL Pro in 2022. 32. By numbers, he is a first-round pick, but I think the stigma of people not knowing Nate Stevens will prevent him from being a first-round pick. So I'm going to sell it because I think people are going to pass on him incorrectly.
Yeah. Well, now that they watch this. Go ahead, Anthony.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I think the guy gets overlooked. You explained where he falls at in the ranks, but here's the thing. You have the Kentucky Colonels with the 7th pick. Stevens out of Kentucky, but you got Jimmy McGuffin in that same. He was only 2 ranks behind him. I think he was like 34, 35. So when that Kentucky Colonel pick comes around and Nate Stevens and Jimmy McGuffin are still available, I think that they go with a McGuffin. You've got Damon Dennis over there. You've got Matt Guy as your captains, co-captains. I think Steven gets overlooked. So I'm going to sell it. And it's unfortunate because the guy is a good talent, but I think he gets overlooked.
I had him going in the first round. All right, Jacob Beamer.
I think similar.
Yes.
I think he's in the exact same spot. I'm going to sell it again on an incorrect feeling by a lot of these captains. I think certain captains will value Beamer, and it will really land on whether or not he falls into somebody's range that's willing to draft him. I will sell it, but it's not because he's not a first-round talent.
Anthony?
Yeah, I mean, I'm guilty of it. He's the 4th best available pick. I was looking at that going, how? I don't recall seeing or saying Jacob Beamer's name at all last year. And I kind of dug in a little bit deep. He was just kind of consistent. He had a really strong run. I want to say it was towards the end of the season where he took 5th in his bracket. But again, I think he's going to get overlooked. I'm going to sell. I don't think he goes in the first round.
I agree. Last one, Gavin Cano. What do we think?
Yes. Sorry, no, Wooten. I'm buying this one.
It's coming out.
The social media videos are going to be his downfall.
He's selling himself hard.
Look, you can't win an Open last year when at a pro shootout with all these pros there, and then go on to have a pretty successful beginning of this season. Kano's not going to be able to fly under the radar. Sorry, guys. I think Kano is a buy on a first-round pick.
Anthony?
Yeah, I think for the average fan, he flies under the radar. For a 48 field of captains who know this game, they have to know Gavin Cano is a candidate for a pick. But I think it goes back to our early discussion. I think he's available in the second round. So does Noah Wooten play that game and say, let's see, he's going to have the 5th pick in the first round. So he's going to have the opportunity to get a really, really high-level player and a strong possibility for Cano to still be available in the second round when it comes around. So does he roll the dice? I'm going to sell. I think he rolls the dice and he gets Cano in the second round.
I had him going in the second round as well. All right. We have a very special guest that's going to join us. Is he here?
I think. He is here, and we got to bring him on. All right.
I just wanted to make sure. All right.
Okay, Bernie got mad at me because I didn't give him this big intro, so I can't give Jeff McCarragher a big intro when he comes on.
No intro at all.
It's not fair.
Just throw him on. Some guy's coming on, and here he is.
You may know him, you may not.
Oh, and he's got the Clemson dad shirt on.
Wow,
let's go.
Oh, this T-shirt. This. I didn't think you'd notice that.
Just bright
Jeff,
orange. But no worries.
Have you told the story of how you got that shirt?
No, I haven't told the story yet.
Yeah, you got to tell the story now that I'm putting you on.
But do I have to tell the whole story?
No, you have to tell the whole story. You can just tell the condensed version.
So, well, I mean, all right. So I guess let's just make it super quick. So you and I were at, what was it? The Everett, Washington shootout, right? And you and I went out after the shootout, as we normally do for dinner. And we're sitting there, and somehow the terrible conversation of age comes up. and you and I get into this conversation, and all of a sudden I'm like, holy I don't know if we can swear on this podcast. I'm like, wow. I'm like, man, dude, like I literally, like, I'm old enough to be your dad. Like if things went, wrong for me when I was a certain age, I'm old enough to be your dad. And so this started like this joke that has had legs ever since. So now when I show up every time I show up to an event with Trey, Dad, Shelby's there, Dad, and now everyone on the ACL staff is, hey, Dad's here. And then even in the Slack chat, I noticed that Anthony, you threw up hey, if Dad can get it, I can get it. So
you are seeing those, Jeff, because I feel like you never talk in there.
So I just logged back on today. So hadn't been on for the last couple months, but whatever. So anyway, so we show up to the Clemson Syracuse game because my daughter is looking at Clemson, and Trey had been like giggling, weeks prior. He's like, I got a gift for you. So sure enough, as soon as I show up to Trey's tailgate, he throws this orange shirt at me that says Clemson Dad. So it has a double entendre. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect.
So I've worn this shirt 2 times. One begrudgingly to the game, the Syracuse game, and the second time today for you.
Yeah. I can't wait to see it a 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th time. Can't wait.
No, it's getting retired after today.
Wow. That makes it even more special though if you were retired.
And I brought another present just for you over here, Mish, and for Anthony.
I see this. It's the first thing I
was
noticed.
eyeballing that, yeah.
Yeah. Had to bring that out. I figured you appreciate that, Mish, because you're such a big hunter. I found out.
I cannot with the pictures on Facebook. I can't do it. I scroll as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Jeff,
it's an over under. It's an over under, Mish. That's what we call it in the biz.
So Jeff, gosh, this is going to be your 3rd year now. Your 3rd year on ACL stuff. I mean, is it what's keeping you around? Like, I mean, I felt like you would have ditched us by now and to go do bigger and better things.
He can't ditch his son. He's stuck.
Yeah,
locked in.
I can't do that to family, right? I mean, it's, no, I mean, Trey, you and I have talked about it, but of all the sports that I broadcast, as most people know, I'm a huge baseball fan, and while baseball viewership has waned in several years, I still love it. I love the creativity of it. I love the artistry of it. I love the fact that in a 3-hour game, there's only 7.5 minutes of action. I absolutely love broadcasting baseball, and not that I don't love broadcasting football, because I do in basketball, but every time that I went to the ballpark for a baseball game, because basically your hours are 1 or 2 o'clock to 11. Every time I drove up to the ballpark and parked, I'd look at the stadium and I'd be like, wow, I can't believe that I get to do this and get paid for it. I mean, it literally every day, and I loved it. And while most people would lament the fact when we'd have an extra inning game, I loved it. I'd stay there for 14, 15, 16, 17 innings. I absolutely loved it. I just never wanted to go home. And this may surprise people, but I actually have the same feeling for cornhole. I just do. Every time we fly into a city, every time we pull up to an event, I look at the venue and I'm like, wow, I can't believe I get to do this and get paid for it. And work with you, Trey. I mean, it's a lot of fun. I mean, we've talked about this before, but broadcast teams, you have to have a relationship. You have to have a partnership. It doesn't just. You have to have something there that's organic. It can't be forced. It can't be created. It's either there or it's not. And fortunately, Trey, my son, I feel like we have that, and I love that relationship, and I love everyone with the league. I love the game. I love our players. This weekend, just because we've been talking so much lately about the sticky game versus the slide game, I called Matt Guy. Called and talked to him probably 20 minutes, and then who I called next? I called Noah, and I talked to Noah for about 20 minutes. Had great conversations. What other sport can you broadcast where I can just pick up my cell phone and just call whoever I want to talk to them? And we just talk shop. I mean, it's just the access that we get, the excitement that we get from broadcasting. I just like broadcasting the games as well. Sometimes they're stinkers, but every game, every sport's like that. But I absolutely love it, and it's just growing. It's just getting bigger, and the fact that I enjoy it is what keeps me around. Sorry, that was a really long answer.
Oh, That's why we bring you on, Jeff. We only have to ask you 2 questions, and then the interview's over.
We're good to go.
All
So
right.
it's
We'll see you
no
guys
work
later.
at
I'm going
all.
hunting.
No, you're not.
Yeah, so for
Gonna go up in a tree stand.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, so for our viewers, right? I mean, if you don't recognize Jeff, you'll definitely recognize his voice, right? He is the other voice that we've gotten to know with Trey Ryder as the voice of cornhole. But Jeff, I just want to describe a story for us. I think it was a pretty cool event, a pretty cool moment. It was definitely significant for me. It was the first broadcast that I had done with you. And it was by far, it just had the most electric feel to it. We were in the hockey arena, the Predators hockey arena, and all of these people were coming into the stands off of the, what do you call it? The boardwalk or the Broadway or whatever it was.
Broadway, yeah.
I think we were handing out thousands of tickets. Someone was going around handing out thousands of tickets. All these people are pumping in, don't know anything about cornhole. I mean, other than that they know the game, but they don't really understand what's happening. But we're watching these stands fill up, and we're minutes from having to do our opener. And this is, for at least for me, Trey, I don't know if you were the same way, but the opener is the hardest part, right? You have to get out in the middle of there. You got all these cameras on you. You got a voice in this year. You got a voice in this year. There's the audio guy giving you signals, and you're good here. So all these things are happening. And I just turned to Jeff, and you clearly have been doing what have you been doing this like 20 years or how many years?
Like 25 years now. Yeah.
25 years. You could see the confidence and just the comfort. And it really helped me because I turned to you and I'm just like, what is happening here? There's all these Matt guys throwing bags in the stand like we're at a basketball game.
That's right.
People are catching him in the stands and they're like kind of tug of warring these bags to try and see who can get the bag.
Fights are breaking out.
Yeah. There was like a lookalike. Who was the country singer? Did you hear about that? There was like a lookalike.
Oh, it's a lookalike. Luke Combs. Yeah, Luke Combs.
Luke Combs. So, security's involved. Like, is this guy really Luke Combs? Is he not? There's like all this stuff happening. But that moment I'll never forget because I literally blacked out. And they say, you're live. And then somehow we rattled off this opener, but I definitely found confidence in your just comfort. So I appreciate that moment for me. It was a breakthrough moment for me for the broadcast.
Anthony, your knowledge is off the charts, brother. I mean, I absolutely love working with you. I mean, I get the same type of confidence working with you and working with Trey that you're talking about, just for different reasons. I mean, knowing that I've got an encyclopedia of knowledge of the sport of cornhole literally off my right shoulder gives me a ton of just peace and confidence when I'm broadcasting as well. But yeah, I will never forget that moment. I really, other than Rock Hill, we've had some incredible moments at Rock Hill. Yes. I mean, we really have. Other than that, yeah, that was an amazing moment. That was fun. One of my top 3 or 4 for sure.
Real quick, what are you looking forward to most this coming season?
So do I have to say one thing? I mean, if it's one thing, it's teams.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, we're out of time, so one thing.
Yeah, one thing is team. I mean, what 1A would be, can Mark Richards do it again? But teams. I can't wait for it. I love the fact that there's basically a captain and 2 franchise. I've been calling them franchise players that you can't trade. There's trades and cuts. And I'm still looking forward. It's regional with all the rivalries. I can't wait for all that. I think it's gonna be huge.
Absolutely.
Well, Michelle, make Jeff give a hot take.
Oh, I was going to. Absolutely. What's your hot take, Jeff?
Oh my God! All right, for what? For the season or for?
It could be anything. It could be this weekend.
This is holy hot takes, baby. Come on, you've watched the show a million times.
Yeah. Are you saying you've never seen our show? Because that's
slide game will reign supreme in 2023.
Oh, that's not. Yeah, I mean,
again,
that's totally expected.
Matt Guy, Jamie Graham, Ryan Windsor, Trey Birchfield, Mark Richards, all of them with slide games. Let's keep it going. Oh, they're gonna hate me.
Oh, yeah, they are. It's all good, though.
Trey, what's your hot take?
Me, Vincent Frisch wins a singles bracket this weekend in California.
Oh.
Love it. Anthony?
Spicy.
I was going to go with Cali as well. Feeding off our discussion earlier, the Sasweta brothers make the deepest run out of all of the Cali teams and end up winning one of their brackets if we have multiple brackets.
I'm picking Frisch Harbaugh for a similar hot take.
Nice.
Frisch Harbaugh. Let's go. All right. That's our show today. We will see you guys all next time, and enjoy your cornhole this weekend in Upland, California.